Hey guys, I am back, and this is the fabled big box of Moras. It's a big box of Moras. So, Moras. Moras are kind of a staple on my channel, and they are a staple knife of the outdoors, of the outdoor enthusiast, survivalists, maybe not survivalists exactly, but bushcrafters. They're very well known, and they're very well respected. And I often say this. There was a time where I had no idea what a Mora was, and I acted like a jackass over it. But you know, let me back up. So this is a two-part video, a two-reason video. Number one, it was requested that I show my updated Mora collection because I did a Mora collection video back in 2020. And it has grown, it has changed a little bit since then. People are really into Moras because they're great. But also, we're gonna talk about, I'm gonna show you how you, I guess the word is classify, differentiate the Mora product line. How you tell them apart. I mean, maybe that's not the best word, but how Moras are delineated through the Mora product line, and how you rack and stack them, maybe. I don't know, but we'll get to that. So now, okay, back to what I was saying. I did grow up my whole life, you know, going camping with my dad. My dad was a triple tabbed Tower of Power military guy. That means he was airborne, he was Ranger, he was Special Forces. So that being said, all the stuff that he taught me, you know, before I went into the military, all of our family stuff, it was all military based. We didn't involve a lot of civilian type equipment, you know. And yeah, sure, buck knives, the old Schrades, you know, back before they were bought out by the whole Chinese company and everything. But I mean, you know, civilian stuff didn't always factor into it. He had his knowledge base. He's a kid who grew up in the Bronx, you know, and he didn't see trees until he, you know, joined the military. And that's a funny story for another time. But so yeah, when I was growing up and we did go camping and everything a lot, it was not all with, you know, a bunch of nice, cool, you know, civilian type stuff. He taught me the things that he picked up in his, you know, total of, well, he has an interest, like I said, his military career is awesome, but he has a total of, I think, 32 years in total time in service. He was originally enlisted, he ended up becoming an officer, yada, 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 retired twice, got called back to service twice, but okay, it is what it is. A lot of my personal experience, you know, still has been military, because I spent my just about whole adult life, you know, in the military. So when I first saw Moras in a battle box, I was like, what is this plastic thing? And you guys out in the interwebs kind of corrected me and said, no, you need to go back and take a second look because you are stupid. Moras are excellent, and here's why. So anyway, here we are into the Moras. So now I know. And now when I go camping, when I go, you know, on nature hikes and stuff like that, Moras are awesome. So let's start off talking about how it is that Mora classifies their product line, or how you can tell the difference. How do you, you know, if you've got a collection, or if you're looking for different ones, how do you delineate Mora models? And here's the weird thing. Here's what's funny. Yes, there are some blade styles that are different, but Moras are actually classified by their handle types. Sounds weird, right? But that's the way Mora does it. So I'm going to separate this out a little bit. All right, I know that this doesn't help you see very well, but I have them separated into their basic handle types. So we have the basics, we have the companions, we have the bushcraft, and we have, well, new. This is just called the new style. There's three that I don't have here. One is the Outdoors 2000. There's only one knife that uses that handle style. It is the Outdoors 2000. I own that knife, or at least I did at one point. I'm not sure what happened to it, if I gave it away in one of the giveaways, or it's just in another box. There's also two wood style handles, the classic and the ashwood I've never owned any wood-handled Moras, just because I don't like them. They're very round handle, and I have an issue with round handles for reasons. These are all the other ones, and we're going to go through them. And we'll probably start with the basic, because that is, they're the basic ones. They're the lowest end in the product line, and so we'll kind of go up through the lowest end and then work our way up. So, and I'll demonstrate the differences. You know, as we go through the collection, we'll look at the collection, and I'll show you the differences in the handle. Maybe I'll show you the differences in the handles first. So this is the basic handle. Now, you're going to see different blade styles, a couple different blade styles, a few different blade styles in the basic handle. It is injected molded plastic around a partial tang that has a few different locking places, so it's not just stuck in there. There's actually grooves or detents so that the plastic can form around it and really lock that in there. Now, they also have some versions of the basic handle that has TPE rubber overmolded over it to give you a kind of a softer feel and a better grip. But these are the base. This is the basic handle style. So you'll see. We'll talk about, as I go through the collection, we'll talk about the different models that fall into that. Now, as a little caveat, you will still find these around. This is the old style basic handle. This is the Model 510, and I'm just going to tell you that now because this is the only one of that I have. They upgraded to this from this. The steel is the same, and everything. Slightly different tang, but the handle and sheath you can see are very different between the old model basic and the new basic. So, but we'll look at that later. A step up from there is the Companion. A lot of people like the Companion. So the Companion is, obviously it is a different blade style, okay? So, but we're gonna look, when we go through the Companions, you'll see some different blade styles, you know, a few different ones among it. But the real thing is, you've got a large TPE rubber pad that takes up the majority of the handle, and it's a little more ergonomically designed. It is a little bit more comfortable to hold on to than the basic. So let me show you just a side by side. A little bit more real estate there to hold on to. And there are actually a couple different versions of the Companion handle that we'll look at as we go through it. But so that's the Companion model right there. Both the Companions and the basics you'll find in either carbon or stainless steel. Moving up, a step up, and when I say moving up, what I mean is in price, okay? Because the steels are all the same. The stainless steels are the same among all Mora knives. The carbon steels are the same among all the Mora knives. Now you've got the Bushcraft handle. This is actually my favorite handle among anything that Mora makes. So you have almost a complete TPE rubber overmolded on the plastic. This is another, these are all partial tang. They all use the same kind of notched grooved system to really lock it in there in multiple places. But this is an incredibly comfortable handle. Sorry, there's paint on my hands from working on some model stuff, but a very comfortable handle, very ergonomically designed. You've got a great grip. It's a nice soft feel. This little molded jimping does nothing for it. Nah, it does a little bit, but it's my absolute favorite handle style among any of the Moras. And we'll see a couple different, a few different blade styles in the Bushcraft series. Okay. And then moving up a step, I guess right kind of in between the Bushcraft and what we're going to show now would be the Outdoors 2000, which I don't have. It is another, you know, TPE rubber overmolded on plastic. I'm not going to really spend a lot of time talking about it because I don't have it to show you. There's only one blade style available with it. And I mean, it's also a pretty comfortable handle, but I don't think it's as comfortable as the Bushcraft. I'm not really sure if, you know, I think maybe the Outdoors 2000 and the Bushcraft are kind of on the same level in terms of where they stack. So then finally we have what Mora just calls the new style handle. And this is on the Eldris, the Garberg, and the Kansball. So I'm just going to show you one of them now. So this is more TPE overlaid on, thermoplastic. You can see that it's back to a more simple design than the Bushcraft, but it is still very comfortable and it's still very grippy. The Garberg is actually the only full tang knife that Mora makes, and there's a significant weight difference. The Kansball is one of my favorite knives that they make. Well, I'll talk about that later. There's a significant weight difference in the Garberg, which is kind of their highest end kind of field knife. So this is the new style, and they also use that on the little Eldris here. So that's the basic classifications of how Mora differentiates the product line. And then of course there's the classic and the ash wood handles. So now let's take a look at the collection, because like I said, once we differentiate a lot of the different handles, there are different blade styles within the handles, and I have a lot of the different blade styles that we can look at. I guess we'll start lower end and move up to higher end. So let me make some room here. So these are my 511s. Some of them are used, some of them are not. Now, I recently uploaded a video talking about Mora's Color of the Year series, which I didn't know existed until I got this in a barrel and blade, and I said, what an interesting color combination, and I looked it up, and I found out that every year since 2016, Mora has put out a limited edition Color of the Year that's only sold in that year. So this is the 2024 Color of the Year, and if you're interested, I'll put a link right up here, and you can go check out that video, which talks about why these are the colors. Unbeknownst to me, I had purchased, I purchased 3 of these Color of the Year. What year is this? 2022. This is the Color of the Year for 2022. I might have gotten some of these in other boxes, and not purchased it intentionally. I don't remember. A lot of these Moras have come in boxes, and I'm not complaining about that at all, because now that I know how good Moras are, they're inexpensive and they're very durable. They're excellent quality, so you can get them and put them in every bag you have, in every glove compartment you have, in every tackle box you have. They're great to have. These also, the black and red, started out as a Color of the Year. I can't remember what year, 2016, 2018, something like that. They were so popular that Mora actually made it a standing color. Now you can see that this carbon blade has been used quite a bit. So like I said, some of these have use on them, some of them don't. Actually, this one does too. 511s are all carbon blade basics, and that's kind of what it is. This one I had done a forced patina on. I believe I did this with vinegar. Not entirely sure, but I'm pretty sure that's how I did this, and I'm pretty happy with how it came out. So 511s are the basic models in carbon steel. And they use a very unique carbon steel that, again, is a very high quality carbon steel. Can't remember it off the top of my head. I'll put it in text, and then you can feel free to look it up. So lightweight, again, very affordable. Really like them. We're going to keep going on. So 511s are the basic in carbon steel. The basic 546 is the exact same knife, except instead of a carbon steel blade, it's got a stainless steel blade. So this is the Color of the Year in stainless steel. Again, just did the video of it. It's just basically the reverse colors there. I have 4 of them. One of them has been used a little bit. Yeah, like this guy's been used a bit. The funny thing is, one of these I remember specifically I got in Poor Man's Prepping Box, if we all remember that horror show. But, you know, I have not shown it the care and love that it deserves. I remember I did some cutting of fat wood with this. That's what's on there, that resin. And, you know, the blades just hold up. They're really nice. Now, also, I should throw in that there's a lot of other colors, if you're into that exist. Different combinations, different colors, solid colors, color combinations. I don't have them all. You know, I'm not a Pokemon collector. I must not collect them all. But if you just go looking, there's different, you know, very tactical colors, just flat black, OD green. There's some more fanciful color ones. These are just the ones I have. So you can go and, you know, see what you want. But so I've got, let's see, so let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 511s in carbon and 4 546s in stainless. So, you know, you might ask, why do they make them in carbon and stainless steel? And that's a legit question for folks that are not big on steel properties, or maybe are kind of new to this community and don't know. I'm not going to get into that right now because, you know, we discussed that a lot in a lot of other videos. But there are pros and cons to each one. And actually, I will talk about that a little bit in a moment, just briefly. So bear with me, because I will bring that up for something. But now, within the basic line, there are also some kind of specialty knives that they offer. And they're still the basic handle, but they've got either different blades, or you know, they've got some, like I said, the TPE rubber on the handles. So I've got some of them, again, not all of them, but I've got some of them we could look at. So this is the very first Mora I ever got. This came in that Battle Box Mission 22. And this is the Pro C. Now, the difference between the Pro and the standard is that the Pro has just a wider blade, you know, which gives you a little bit more, it gives you more meat behind the cutting edge. And you can see it's exactly the same thickness blade stock, but you've got just more stability behind that cutting edge there. And you have that TPE rubber overmold for a better grip. So this is the Pro C, C being carbon. This guy right here, this is the Pro S. So this blade is stainless. It's the exact same thing as the Pro C, but Pro S, stainless steel. So like I said, a lot of times they make the exact same blade, just in you know, stainless and carbon. So you can see again, it's got that wider blade, same width, but in stainless steel. Now we compare that, since we're looking at the width of the thickness of the blade stock. This is called the Robust. This is a big chunky beast. Now it is the Pro style blade, but take a look at the thickness difference. So this has a bit more weight. It's a big piece of carbon steel. Now this is, if you're going to be, not that we should ever, I know we're never supposed to baton, you know, through wood and stuff, but if you were going to use something like this to do it, you'd much rather do it with a thick piece of metal like this. So you just have a lot more strength in your blade stock with the Robust. And the weight difference is noticeable. It's not terrible. So now, I don't know if they make a Robust in stainless, to be honest with you. I'm not sure. But it's a good feeling. It's a nice, solid feeling. So, yeah. These ones, by the way, all have the rubber overmold on them, so I'm going to stop mentioning that. This is called the Flex. This is a nice, thin blade. If you have to do some fine slicing tasks, kind of like a little fillet knife. I bought it because I thought it was cool. I have not had any chance or purpose to use it. You can see how they, you know, did very light engraving on it. It's very thin. But yeah, there you go. It is what it is. This one is the chisel, and it is like a tradesman knife. Reminds me of a CRKT Razzle. It's a bit heavier because it's got the thickness of the Robust blade stock, but you basically have a regular cutting edge and a chisel edge. And so technically, if you look on the website, they list the basic series under construction or workman's knives, not outdoors knives, because they have so many different models that you can use for, they have like a, well, you know, I don't want to screw it up. I don't want to say it wrong, but they have like carpet cutting knives. They have a lot of different kinds of things, like tool related knives. I got this one because I thought maybe it would come in handy one day. You know, we're never supposed to use a knife as a pry bar, but this is one you literally could use as a pry bar. So I grabbed it, and there you go. Now this one is kind of cool. This is called the rope, and it is it's in between the regular thickness and the robust, but it is made specifically with these serrations for cutting ropes. And again, I've had no cause to use it. So you see you've got regular fine edge right up by the tip there, but you have these very unique serrations there specifically for cutting ropes. I grabbed it because I thought, you know, maybe one day, who knows? But that's pretty cool. And again, there are other versions of the. I feel like you know what? I feel like I'm missing one now. Yep, here it is. This should have gone in with the regular handles, but it kind of got lost under the box. So this is called the safe, and it's kind of like an oyster knife, and so it's got a regular cutting edge, but then it's got a blunt tip over there. So I got this because I thought, you know what, it might be useful one day. I don't know, but it might be useful one day. So this is also in carbon, and all right. So that is the extent of my collection of basics, and there are still a bunch of basics that I don't have. So if we were to try to line them all up, let me see if I can even get them all on camera. I'm working on it. You know what? We're just going to have to overlap. So there's all the basics. And again, I don't consider it, you know, so I have a bunch. They're so affordable, and you can just put them everywhere, and they're always useful. Okay, so let's move these back to the box. Now, I've talked about this before, but when it was time to teach the boys about how to do outdoor knife stuff, the basic is the knife that I chose for them. Because again, they're practically indestructible. They're very reliable. So Ethan, being the youngest, I chose the carbon blade for him because I thought it was just a better idea to teach him how to keep a blade clean and dry than have his little fingers near a blade on a sharpening stone. Carbon steel is going to hold that edge longer, but it needs a little bit more, you know, keep clean and dry. For the older boys, David and Aiden, they basically picked the color that they liked better, but I got them stainless, and I thought that they're old enough as teenagers, 14 and 15, that I could teach them the mechanics of sharpening, and they could have some better fine motor skills, you know, and not slice fingers open. So I got them each a stainless steel blade. So these belong to the boys. I keep physical control over them, and we go outside and we practice, you know, feather sticking, cutting wood, starting fires. Now, one thing about the basic series that I'll tell you is that they do not have a nice firm 90-degree spine for striking, because again, Mora considers these like tradesman construction knives, not outdoors knives. You can take care of that really easily if you take a Dremel with a sanding wheel and just give 1 or 2 passes right over the top of this spine. That will grind it into a perfect 90-degree edge with those hard edges for striking a ferro rod. But that's the one complaint about the basic series, is that they are not made for striking. And that's a pain in the ass. But anyway, so there are all the basics. obviously, I do not have as many companions as I have basics. Companions are slightly more expensive, not that much more, but a little bit more. They have a lot of options, not as many options as the basics. Let's start with this one and just knock it out. So this is a standard companion, but this is the limited edition Mora 125th anniversary, edition. It is what it is. So I have it. And it was not any more expensive than another standard companion. Now, companions are available in various different colors, but the standard one you're going to see most often is this, OD green and black handle. I have a couple here that are just, one is a little bit more used than the other. As you can see, like I said before, the handles on these are really comfortable. You can see there's, longer, slightly different style blade than your basics. You've got an edge on the spine that you can strike a ferro rod with, which is nice. There is a sort of robust version of the companion. It's called the MG, which stands for military green, but it is the same thing. It is let me show you the difference. It is a big honking piece of steel version of the companion, and it feels like it. And so there we go. All right, I was just checking. I was seeing what I engraved. I took this camping with us to Chincoteague Island, and so I got all fancy and I engraved it and stuff. And then again, I gave it a little bit of a forced patina to help protect the carbon on it. But so a little bit more weight, a little bit, so a lot stronger blade. But other than that, it's basically the exact same companion. Although you can see the handle here is a little bit more robust as well. A little bit bigger, which I like, fits the hand really, really well. And you will see that style of handle come back in some of the other ones. In fact, let's talk about it right now. So the High Q Robust. This is basically kind of the same thing as what we just looked at. Which one of you is heavy? The High Q Robust is basically the MG. It's just in more of a civilian color kind of thing. It is actually the exact same thing. You can see the blade is exactly the same, but instead of the military green, you have this gray pattern. So, take your pick. What do you like better? Gray and black or military green? This is the basically the same version, the safety version of the companion as they had for the basic. It's the High Q Safe Knife. So it's a companion handle, standard companion handle, and so you've got your regular cutting edge, and then you've got just a safety tip on it. This one is kind of fun. This is another serrated edge, so cutting ropes and stuff. But it's in the companion blade instead of the basic. So I like this one. I mean, it's just like I said, the companion's very comfortable to hold, and it's bright orange. So, sorry, I lost my train of thought for a second. So, like emergency kits and everything, high visibility, good for that kind of stuff. This is for the fishermen out there. This is for, doing your filleting and your scaling and stuff. I don't know why I bought it, because, I just wanted to put it in my collection. I'm not a huge fisherman, but you know what? I'd rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it, right? Yeah. And again, there are still models out there that I don't have, and that's why I throw the link to the Mora website, and you can go see all the other ones I have. Two really cool versions of the companion, and they're essentially the same thing, just different blade styles. It's the Mora Spark and the Mora Light My Fire. There was an older version of the companion called the Clipper, and it featured this blade style. This is the newer companion blade style. You see the clipper had this kind of, what they call it, a profile grind, where you have a thinner part of the blade for better slicing. You're going to see that on the higher end knives that we're going to look at in a little bit, and on the Bushcraft. So the Light My Fire is based on the earlier Spark. Sorry, the Light My Fire is based on the earlier clipper blade, and the Spark is based on the newer Companion blade. But they're both technically companion knives because of the handle. But the thing is, each one of them has a built-in internal ferro rod, and so you've got your fire starting right there, which is why it's Light My Fire and the Spark. So that's kind of cool. You have fire starting and a decent knife in one, and you can see that both of these have been used. And there is the companions. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 companions. Okay. Now the Bushcraft, more than any other of the Mora line, really differentiates blade style among the handle styles. So we're going to start with this is the standard Bushcraft. This is the Bushcraft. And this is that profile grind I was talking about. It's much more pronounced on some of the other knives. But what they have is you've got your standard grind, and then the forward part is thinner. The whole point of this is so that you have a thinner slicing edge over here for fine work, or some, if you're going to do some food prep out in the field, but then you still have your full thickness, the full thickness part of the blade over here for some heavier tasks, cutting through wood and stuff like that. I really like this. I've used this before, and it is pretty good to have both of those. Again, I like it. I'll show it to you on the Cans Ball. I really like it on the Cans Ball. I think it's really well defined, and on the Outdoors 2002, I wish I had it right here. So this is just the standard Bushcraft, which I love. That again, I love the handle. It's got slightly different, clip than the other ones on both the Basic and the Companion. It's just a fixed molded in clip, but this lets you rotate around a little bit depending on what you want. It actually has two different ones that you can slip in here. I can't remember where the other one is, so I'm going to leave that out. Now, a step up from the Bushcraft is what they call the Bushcraft Survival. Now you can see it's the same handle, but thicker blade without the profile grind. So you just basically get a thicker Scandi grind blade, and for more kind of intense in the field kind of work. It comes with this sheath, which is basically the same sheath, but it has this clip-on addition which holds a ferro rod and a very light diamond sharpening stone. So you can strike, start fires, and you can maintain your edge, although I've kind of screwed up the Scandi grind on this, if you look, because I've accidentally put a secondary bevel on that a little bit. But this is, a step up in price from the regular Bushcraft, because you get these accessories and a bigger, thicker blade. But I like this knife a lot. It feels good and solid, and you can kind of see some of the markings there. It's been used a little bit too. I had one in orange. I think I probably gave it to Dave. Actually, leave it out. Now, the biggest version of the Bushcraft is the Bushcraft Pathfinder. And this is made so you have extra weight leverage for some chopping power. You can see obviously it's a much longer blade. It's the exact same handle. It's a much longer blade. It's got the thicker blade stock of the Bushcraft Survival. But you definitely have some heavier weight for chopping. You can baton with this if you wanted to. You know, again, I know we're never supposed to, but it's made to give you that extra length. Obviously, it's not a machete, but you can cut through a little bit of foliage with it and everything. And it comes with, this is the first one we're going to see, with a MOLLE compatible sheath. So it's got rigid plastic inside, and you know, standard connected to your MOLLE stuff. What is cool about this is that this is the first one where we're actually going to have some kind of positive retention factor. All the other ones just have some kind of friction, and I'll be the first one to say, as much as I love Mora, their sheaths suck. You know, it's very easy for them to come out because they're just held in there by friction, and it doesn't always work. I have 2 of these. I don't remember why. I think I bought one and one came in a box. You see the carbon on this one's getting a little bit of surface rust. It's been sitting around in the big box of Moras just a little too long. But this is a nice, lightweight, heavy-duty knife, if that makes sense. So this is, as Moras go, this one's getting a little expensive at around maybe $40, $50. But you're getting a big old piece of steel in there. Now, the high end of Mora, and so some of the classics and some of the Ashwoods are actually high, I mean, they are high end and they are rather expensive, I'll say. But again, I don't have them to look at. Now we've got the new series handles. I also have a green Eldris. I don't know where it went, but I know I have it somewhere. The new handle series is, well, we looked at it before. I have 3 cans balls. Cans balls. I have 3 balls. 3 cans balls. I really, really like the can. This is my most used one. I really like the cans ball. It is maybe one of my favorite Moras, if not my favorite Mora. This is the Garberg. This is Mora's, you know, heaviest duty kind of in the field knife. And then the Eldris, which is just a little tiny guy. They all share the same elements of the handle, which you can see has the same kind of diamond pattern, thermoplastic, and then the Garberg doesn't have the TPE rubber overmold, and I don't know why, because that gives you really good grip. I don't know why you wouldn't want that, but it's still a very comfortable hold. I don't think it's as good as the Bushcraft handle series. I really like the Bushcraft handle series. I'd love these blades in the Bushcraft handle. But, you know, take a look at how thick the steel is in the Garberg. It's a little thicker, actually, I think, than the Robust. You have just really sharp 90-degree edges. By the way, you do in the Bushcraft series as well. 90-degree edges for striking. Here's a much better view of the profile grind, where you can really see how it thins out to that nice thin slicing area up front, but you still have your nice thick blade stock in the back to support that cutting edge for harder tasks. You have that clipper blade style on the Eldris here, which again is designed to do kind of the same thing, give you a thinner slicing area up front. These are designed kind of to be neck knives. You can, there's attachments that you can get so that you can either, do I have one? These things come off, these little loops, so you can put one of those on here and wear it on a belt loop, or there's a little attachment to wear it like a neck knife, you know, or you can just throw it in a pocket or whatever. They now have you know, Garbergs in orange with black coated blades. They come in green as well. So I mean, this is a full tang. This is one of the few Moras with a full tang knife. This has a very long partial tang, and again, it's locked in like everything else, so it's not going anywhere. It's not going to pull out. But this has significant weight to it compared to the other ones, and people really love this knife. It's got a really nice finish on the steel too, if you can see. So Now, all the Garbergs come with this kind of Molle compatible sheath system. So if you notice, the cans balls here, cans balls, they come like this with this sheath. This Molle setup is this sheath. It is just this sheath. It's the same thing, but it is like locked in this adapter. Now the Garberg comes with this whole thing. It comes with with everything. The Garberg is, you know, Mora's $100 knife, by the way. You can buy this adapter just for, you know, if you want to put a cans ball into it, you know, because you want to carry the cans ball in the same way. And then this Velcro strap lets you put it through Molle attachments, or you know any kind of loop or whatever on any gear, or you know, belt you use as a belt loop or whatever. Unfortunately, you can't use this. So this is, you know, how we slide this on for the belt loop. This slides on to give you, you know, your positive retention by way of this strap. You can't use both at once. So if you were to not use this little rig for Molle compatibility, you can't use this and have a positive retention strap, which, you know, is unfortunate. But I like having that. So the cans ball I really like, because I think it's a really good compromise between what you get in the Garberg and some of the less expensive knives. I really love the profile grind there. I really, really do. So I like the Eldris just because it's small and light. I never will use it as a neck knife. I don't like neck knives. But as something small, again, that you can throw in any pocket, in any pack, in a pocket, in your pocket, in, you know, in anything, and have yourself a very well-made, fairly rugged, versatile little knife for doing whatever tasks you need to outside. Great 90-degree spine for striking your ferro rod or whatever, and relatively, you know, lightweight for what you get. So there is the new updated DocP Mora collection and a little primer on how to classify and, you know, delineate the Mora product line for those of you who didn't know. I love Moras. They are, you know, one of the best bang for your buck outdoors knives that you're ever gonna get. And I only wish that I had discovered them sooner. That's all I can say. So I hope this does well for the, you know, the viewer request. It's been asked for a few times, you know, and so I hope that this satisfies that request. And I hope that the information that I kind of gave out about the different Moras, you know, was good too, and you guys enjoyed it. So thanks guys for spending some time with me, and I hope that this was fun, educational, interesting, a good way to kill some time. Maybe you just had it on for noise in the background, whatever. I appreciate it any way you wanted to do it. So that being said, you guys are all absolutely awesome, and I appreciate every single one of you, and I'll be back again real soon.